Hey there, quick question. What if I told you the government already knows which foods they'll seize first when disaster hits? Sounds intense, right? But it's true. Every time a major crisis strikes, whether it's Hurricane Katrina or the COVID lockdown, certain canned foods vanish from shelves almost instantly. And it's not just panic buying. There's a pattern, a hidden list. You see, during national emergencies, officials don't scramble randomly. They target specific high-value preserved foods, 6 of them to be exact. These 6 canned items account for over 80% of what gets rationed, stockpiled, or seized first. What's crazy? Most of these foods are sitting quietly in your pantry or your local grocery store right now. I've spent months digging into government preparedness plans, FEMA documents, and historical after-action reports. And what I uncovered is eye-opening. In the next few minutes, I'm going to break down all 6 of these essential canned foods, starting with the one that becomes more valuable than gold when things fall apart: canned meat. Let's rewind to early COVID. Remember those empty meat shelves? That wasn't just a run on groceries. Canned meat became survival currency. And here's why. Just one small can of tuna holds around 40 grams of protein. That's more than 6 eggs. It doesn't spoil. It doesn't need refrigeration. It lasts 3 to 5 years, sometimes longer. In fact, I came across a true story out of Texas. A family opened a 12-year-old can of chicken from their grandparents' basement. Lab tested. Still safe to eat. That's some serious shelf life. The big 3 you want in your pantry? Tuna, chicken, and Spam. Tuna demand soared 140% during the first COVID lockdown. Chicken? It's the MVP of versatility. Goes with rice, pasta, whatever you've got. And Spam? It's the underdog that turns into a hero when fresh meat vanishes. Spam sales hit record highs in 2023. Hormel had to open an entirely new production plant in Minnesota just to keep up. Why? Because people know it delivers protein that doesn't spoil, and tastes good too. Spam was even used as currency during World War II in the Pacific Islands and post-war Korea. It's not just food, it's a survival asset. Here's something wild. FEMA's 2023 emergency assessment officially classifies canned meat as a Tier 1 strategic food resource. That means it's on the government's radar. Big time. They've got maps of major canned meat storage facilities. They know exactly where the supplies are. And it makes sense. Canned meat is nutrient-dense, ready to eat, doesn't need cooking, and boosts morale in stressful situations. A Cornell study even showed canned meat keeps 94% of its nutrition and improves the bioavailability of key minerals like zinc and iron. I'm telling you, this stuff is a nutritional powerhouse. One pallet can feed hundreds during a crisis. And when protein becomes scarce, you'll be glad you stocked up. Right now, I keep 24 cans of mixed meats at home. That's enough to feed a family of 4 for 2 weeks in a worst-case scenario. All you need is a cool, dry cupboard. No bunker necessary. All right, now let's talk about the second food on the list. It's not flashy, it's not fancy, but it might just save your life. Beans and legumes. Beans aren't just budget staples. They're liquid gold in a crisis, and FEMA knows it. In 2023, during those brutal Midwestern floods, FEMA's food recovery teams prioritized one thing before all others: canned beans, not water, not rice. Beans. Why? Because just one can delivers 15 grams of protein, 15 grams of fiber, and enough slow-burning carbs to power your body for hours. All that for about $1. And it gets better. Research shows that during stress, your body processes bean protein more efficiently than usual. That's right. Adrenaline actually makes these humble legumes perform like high-octane fuel. The government isn't guessing here. Leaked FEMA reports confirmed they're stockpiling black beans and kidney beans in particular. Why those two? Black beans are loaded with antioxidants, great for your immune system. Kidney beans are rich in folate, which helps protect your brain during extended periods of stress. These aren't just pantry fillers, they're nutrition-packed survival tools. No fridge needed, no cooking required if it comes down to it. And they last over 5 years on the shelf. In fact, Cornell's preservation study showed canned beans kept 94% of their nutrition even after 6 years. That beats most MREs used by the military. I've even eaten 7-year-old canned beans from my own pantry. Were they gourmet? Number. But they were completely fine, just a little softer than fresh. Prevent deficiency-related illnesses during long-term crises, things like scurvy, fatigue, and even impaired immune response. That's why they're treated as strategic stockpile items by federal agencies. I spoke with a logistics officer from a National Guard unit who told me straight up, if it grows and comes in a can, we're taking it first. Here's the kicker. Most people only think of canned corn or peas, but it's the dark green and orange vegetables that FEMA prioritizes. Spinach, carrots, green beans, and mixed vegetables. Why? Because they contain the vitamins people lose fastest in high-stress situations. Vitamin A, C, and K, along with folate and potassium. These nutrients aren't just nice to have. In survival mode, they're the difference between staying strong or collapsing. Let me give you a real-world example. After the 2021 Texas freeze, one emergency food warehouse near Austin had all its canned vegetables requisitioned within 36 hours, gone before any other food category. A volunteer I interviewed said FEMA trucks rolled in before the public even arrived, loading up pallets of green beans and carrots. They know what they're doing. And don't be fooled by expiration dates. Most canned vegetables are safe to eat up to 5 years past the printed date if stored properly. Cool, dark place, minimal temperature swings. That means you can stack a serious nutrient buffer in your pantry right now for dirt cheap. $1 per can today could be a lifesaver tomorrow. And here's something most folks don't think about: fiber. In a crisis, stress and unfamiliar foods wreak havoc on your digestive system. Canned veggies like peas and green beans help keep your gut moving and your immune system humming. That's not just comfort, it's survival. During a power outage in Idaho last winter, a friend of mine had no heat, no stove, and limited food. But she had a stash of canned veggies. She told me feeding her family warm carrots and peas, heated over tea candles, believe it or not, gave her a sense of control and calm in the chaos. She's now tripled her vegetable stockpile. Look, canned vegetables are quiet heroes. They don't make headlines, they're not flashy, but when disaster strikes, they're top priority for the government, and should be for you too. I recommend storing at least 30 cans in rotation. It's simple. Buy what you eat what you store, and replace as you go. Coming up next, I'll reveal the 5th canned food that vanishes first in a crisis, and why it plays a role not just in nutrition, but in hydration and mental clarity. Want to guess what it is? Stay tuned. Incredible. A single can of evaporated milk delivers nearly the full calcium requirement for a day, along with protein and fat, crucial in a food-scarce situation. And condensed milk? It's calorie-dense, shelf-stable comfort in liquid form, combining sugars and fats that your body craves during prolonged stress. It's not just food. It's fuel and morale in one. Here's what most people miss. Dairy is one of the hardest things to replace in a crisis. No refrigeration, no fresh milk. Powdered alternatives work, sure, but evaporated and condensed milk don't require extra water, which might also be limited. That's why they're go-to staples for emergency field hospitals and refugee kitchens worldwide. A logistics officer I interviewed told me, condensed milk is one of the first items shipped in Red Cross supply crates, not just for nutrition, but to help people prepare calming foods like tea, porridge, or even bread. Warm, sweetened milk has been used for centuries to soothe children and restore mental balance during crisis. There's science behind that. Johns Hopkins researchers found that lactose and milk fats help reduce cortisol levels, easing anxiety in high-stress environments. During the blackout in Puerto Rico, after Hurricane Maria, families who had stocked evaporated milk were better able to care for infants, elderly, and medically fragile people, especially when water supplies were disrupted. I heard one story of a woman who used her last can of condensed milk to mix with instant coffee and share with neighbors who hadn't had a warm drink in 5 days. She told me the mood shift was almost magical. People were laughing again. And here's another critical factor: flexibility. Evaporated milk can replace cream, milk, or half and half in nearly any recipe, making it a kitchen chameleon. Sweetened condensed milk can be used in baking, quick no-bake treats, or even just drizzled over canned fruit for a calorie-boosting dessert. You can stretch simple ingredients into satisfying meals with just one can. Now, let's talk scarcity. As early as March 2020, major retailers like Kroger and Target quietly put purchase limits on canned dairy, and most customers didn't even notice. Why? Because this isn't flashy stock-up stuff. It's what the pros call core shelf survival stock, and it gets quietly cleared out by insiders, nurses, aid workers, military families, before panic even starts. If you're serious about preparedness, you need at least 12 cans, a mix of evaporated and condensed milk, rotated annually. Store them in a cool, dark place and mark purchase dates with a Sharpie. They last years unopened and provide comfort and critical nutrients when you need them most. Look, in a crisis, protein bars might get you through the day, but a warm cup of sweetened milk before bed might be what gets you through the night. These cans aren't just about surviving. They're about preserving the pieces of normal life that keep us human. Coming up next, I'll share the final canned food most people forget, but one that could be a total game changer in both nutrition and barter value. Want a hint? It's not what you think. Let's talk numbers. A single 12-ounce can of evaporated milk delivers a whopping 25 grams of protein and 80% of your daily calcium needs. That's not marketing hype. That's straight from the 2024 Journal of Emergency Nutrition, which ranked evaporated milk as one of the most nutrient-rich, cost-effective, shelf-stable foods out there. It's not just pantry filler. It's emergency gold. But here's the twist most people miss. It's not just for drinking. When the Texas grid collapsed last year, families with cans of condensed milk didn't just survive, they cooked. They whipped up protein-packed coffee drinks, made sauces with no fridge required, and even created calcium-rich meals for kids and elders. You can mix it into baby formula substitutes, deliver crushed meds to someone who can't swallow pills, or stir it into oats for a no-cook power breakfast. The versatility is unmatched. In fact, FEMA now ranks evaporated milk in Tier 1, right next to antibiotics and fuel, because, unlike powdered milk, it doesn't rely on clean water to use. That alone makes it critical in disasters where water is compromised. After recent wildfires and floods in California, FEMA trucks were reportedly stocked with evaporated milk before water in some deliveries. Think about that. Here's what sealed it for me. During the National Emergency Resource Conference last month, condensed milk was named the #1 force multiplier for household preparedness. Not power bars, not freeze-dried packs. Sweet, sticky condensed milk. Why? Because it provides instant calories, critical nutrients, and emotional comfort when everything else is falling apart. Shelf life? 2 to 3 years minimum, and many cans last longer if stored right. I've seen people rotate stock for 5 years without spoilage. Just label each can with a Sharpie, month and year, and store them in a cool, dry space. Not just your kitchen, under beds, in closets, or stacked in bins in the garage. Just avoid heat and humidity. The pros don't hoard, they rotate. That's the key. This brings us full circle. Why do these 6 foods disappear first when things go sideways? Because it's not random. It's logistics. It's science. It's the government doing the math. How do we keep the most people fed, healthy, and mentally stable using the least space and time? After Hurricane Maria, the first FEMA shipments weren't full of granola bars. They sent canned meats, beans, vegetables, fruits, soups, and milk. These 6 categories, protein-packed meats, fiber-rich beans, nutrient-dense soups, critical canned veggies, mood-boosting fruits, and dairy-rich milk products, are what keep people going. And now you know why. Don't go out and panic buy 50 cans of tuna. That's what amateurs do. The smart move is to build your supply slowly and smartly. Add a few cans each time you shop. Date them. Use them. Replace them. That eat what you store what you eat method isn't just practical. It saves money and prevents waste. You don't need a bunker. Just a little prep, a cool closet, and a rotation habit. That's the difference between panicking when shelves go bare and calmly reaching into your stash knowing you're covered. And hey, if this helped you think differently about what's in your pantry, don't wait. Action beats anxiety every time. Next time you're at the store, grab those few extra cans, share this with someone who needs a nudge, and hit that subscribe button and notification bell. I've got more no-nonsense preparedness tips coming your way, the kind that could save your sanity, and maybe even your life. Drop a comment and let me know. Which of these 6 foods are you adding to your emergency stash first?